I've been interviewing for jobs in social media and influencer relations, and one company asked me what constitutes an ideal creator to work with for a brand deal. Somehow, I'd never really deeply thought about this, but I answered without hesitation. Either those with the best professionalism or star-tier content. Ideally, a bit of both. While I didn't get that job, they did like my answer. So now let's dive into the two types of creators companies want to sponsor. Let's get started. Type 1. The professional creator. The professional creator is one of the best assets a company can have for sponsorships, partnerships, and other brand deals. Professional creators are characterized by, well, their professionalism. Some folks in my industry joke that creators are creators because they're unemployable in any other job because they're disorganized, unprofessional, or some other qualities like that. The professional creator is the opposite. They're organized, professional, and probably have a whole career outside of their content. Or they're successful in content creation exactly because they're professional. I was originally going to call this section Pro Creators, but that sounds a lot like procreators. So, in brand deals, professional creators, not pro-creators, aren't just the people who do what they say they'll do when they say they're going to do it, but they'll either do more or do it early and keep you updated throughout the entire process. Basically, they over-communicate, over-deliver, or both. In other words, they are extremely reliable. And as a marketer, you can always count on them when you need a sponsored post to happen. So let's do a quick case study on my friend and a creator that I've worked with, Mikhail Casanova. In my experience, he has been one of the best, most professional creators that I've had the pleasure to work with. He's a podcaster, tech and game reviewer, and journalist living in Hawaii. And I worked with him when I managed creator partnerships at AverMedia at my last job. While I obviously can't get into any NDA or otherwise not public details, he was always one of the most reliable creators that I got to work with. He was extremely communicative and friendly, and he always went above and beyond whenever we asked him to do something. He'd even offer to do things when we didn't ask for them. And he isn't a small creator by any means. Content creation is his full-time job. In fact, it's his professionalism that built that career as a content creator. If you look at his list of companies that he's currently working with, you can absolutely understand why. There's so many companies that he works with, and it's built like a snowball for him. And that happened because he is so professional, communicative, and over-delivering in his work with companies. So many companies work with him because companies like to work with people like this. And I was so incredibly fortunate that many of the creators that I worked with during the partnership program at AverMedia were just like this. So if you're one of those people, thank you for making my job that much easier. And I've always sincerely meant it when I said that working with the partners was the absolute best part of my job. I can't think of a transition. So transition. The next type of creator that we'll be discussing is the star. Companies usually adore these creators, and it's completely understandable why. These creators are usually the very best at what they do, experiencing rapid growth because of the amazing content they make and the community that they've built. At times, they might seem unprofessional or disorganized, but the inconsistency is made up with outrageous creativity, amazing content, and stellar results in brand deals. But that seeming unprofessionalism does have a source. It's usually a result of suffering from success. There's too much to do and too many inquiries, but whether that's fans wanting to reach out to their favorite creator or companies trying to strike gold with a brand deal. In many cases, it is completely impossible to even read all of these messages. By the time a creator becomes a star, they really should delegate some of their work, whether that's hiring an editor, working with an agency to organize their brand deals or things like that, but oftentimes they simply don't, and that's usually because they're so swamped getting by making their content. But this is all to say that in brand deals, a star might not be responsive all of the time. But when you manage to get their attention to do a brand deal with you, it is often amazing for the company. Your inquiries to make a brand deal happen might get lost in their inbox because of how successful and in demand they are. So for marketers, if you have a star in your partnership roster, sometimes you need to send follow-up, but don't be rude and don't send excessive follow-ups to strangers or even partners that you know are outrageously busy. Again, when you manage to organize a good deal with a star creator, the results are often amazing. Whether the goal is brand awareness, social media growth, driving sales, or something else entirely, stars get results. I'm not changing the angles for any reason, but I just wanted to have another transition because I can't think of the transition. We're going to do a case study again. So another creator that I had the absolute pleasure to work with was the VTuber Girl DM. If you look at her social media numbers, she's been on an absurd growth trajectory over the last year or two. When we partnered with her, she was definitely well established, but this was before her like outrageous hyper growth. Again, with this case, I obviously cannot disclose anything that's NDA or non-public, but if you just scroll through AverMedia's Twitter, just search AverMedia Girl DM, you will see that anything that she had any relation to, whether that was a post mentioning her, something that she retweeted, or something that she posted and then the company retweeted, absolutely dwarfs the engagement of a typical post by the brand. To top it all off, in October 2021, my team did an event called Create and Connect, where we had partners do panels about something that they specialized in. We interviewed Girl DM about what it's like to be a VTuber and the tech that it requires, and during that span, our viewership basically tripled. She's an amazing creator and an absolute star in every sense, and it was an absolute pleasure to work with her. One last note, being a creator and being a star are not mutually exclusive. In fact, creators who treat their content creation with some degree of professionalism are often far more likely to become stars in the first place. Much more so than people who might be creative and talented, but don't have any consistency and just kind of get lucky if they have a video that pops off. That said, small to medium-sized creators that are extremely professional might be easier to work with for companies than large creators, no matter how professional they are. This is simply because the stars, the large creators, are often already overwhelmed by inquiries, and you asking to do some sponsored post might not fit on their plate. Whereas for smaller to medium creators, if they're incredibly professional and it's a relevant fit, then they're much easier to work with. Now, if you're a creator, how can you develop these traits of being a star or a professional? First off, at any point in any creative journey, anyone can be more professional in how they work and how they operate as a creator. But being a star takes years of dedication to improve your content and build your audience. That said, I will reiterate that people who treat their content creation professionally are far more likely to grow into stars. Therefore, no matter what size you are, focus on getting just a little bit more organized. Like maybe just make a small change this week. Maybe start using a content calendar. Maybe take the brand deals you already have a little bit more seriously. Maybe spend some time learning skills or improving your workflow so you can get a little bit more done a little bit faster. Or improve the quality of your video or editing. And just to step back for a second, on one hand, professional creators are often the ones that companies love most to work with, but companies won't work with you if you don't have an audience in the first place. Unless you are literally just doing contract work to make something for the company to publish themselves. So however much you focus on being professional, make sure some of that goes into improving your content. That's the most important thing with getting brand deals, having good content. But flip that professional switch, be more deliberate and professional with your content, and get creating. And if you're down about not getting the brand deals that you want yet, watch my video on how to process not getting sponsored. Thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe for more, watch that video, and happy creating. See you next time.